3, 2, 1.
My name is Nick. I'm a full-time trader and entrepreneur. We put out tons of stuff for free for traders.
These are real trades. This is real money. I'm putting my money on the line.
This is going to be a live trading video. Here, locking in over $1,000 on this trade.
Wow, I'd love to get in on this.
Technical insights that really look good to me.
Here we go. We're live.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another stream. How are you all doing? Thanks very much for being here. We got people in the chat. Rustenberg TV says he was early today. We always love those people who show up early and are here to hang out with us as we get going. So welcome, welcome. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. We do this every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. I go live. I talk about setups and ideas and things that I'm looking at in the markets. Gives me a good chance to do my own analysis, and it also, I think, helps some of the people out there who are newer, who are looking for a bit more insight on the markets. And could use some tips. So with that said, welcome. How you doing? I'm glad to be back with you guys, and we should probably just jump into things because another day in the markets. We got movement going on. We got the pound pushing higher today, which is interesting because we had some sell pressure on the pound for a little bit here. We saw sellers kind of taking control for a minute there on the pound, but then today we're seeing it rally right back. We also have the Swiss franc looking pretty weak today. And of course, we will talk about some of the other things like gold today. We'll see what's going on and figure something out there. But just a reminder to the people who are newer to the stream, I do these Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. So if you're watching this back at a later point, you can tune into them live if you want. Just tune in at your local time. It's 9 a.m. for me. It might be a different time for you if you're in a different part of the world, but just convert it to your time frame and you can tune in and hang out with us live, ask questions, and hang out with us. Speaking of people in the chat, what's up, Marcus? I see Gerald. I see Evan here. What's up, Ish? Grown Man Gamer, good to see you. Juan is here. Ethan from Cape Town, South Africa. What's up, everybody? Big G, good to see you again, man. Yassine says pound yen short squeeze. Let's jump into some stuff, you guys. There's a lot going on. Speaking of pound yen, the pound currencies or pound currency pairs have been just going crazy today. You can see pound yen up 0.38%, which is it's a decent move in the currency market. It's not very much, if you're looking at it against like the stock market, for example, where you've got stocks moving 10% in a day or 2% in a day, 3%, whatever, right? Definitely smaller, but when we're talking about currencies, we have access to leverage. So these moves can actually be accented. We can amplify or diminish the different gains or losses based on, this might be 0.5%, but you could move your account by 2% if you wanted to. So just one of the cool things about leverage and the ability to use it properly. I say that carefully because there's a lot of traders out there who do not use leverage properly. But let's go ahead and really quick switch over and take a look at forexfactory.com. See if we have anything major on the news today. Make sure my filters are all good. We're looking at all the majors. And yes, so today we have Aussie retail sales coming out. Or I guess for them it's tomorrow, but for us it's this evening here over in the North American region. On top of that, on Thursday, we have some interesting stuff coming out. Some leaked information about NFP could be interesting. Sometimes it is. Most times it's not super interesting. And then we have ISM service PMI, level of diffusion to index based on surveyed purchasing managers, including the manufacturing industry. Okay, some potentially dollar moving news on Thursday. And then finally, Friday is the big one, you guys, of course, with NFP. So Friday at 8:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern, be careful if you're trading U.S. or Canadian dollars because we have some news that could very well be very market moving. What I mean by this is that when this news hits the floor, if you're very new to Forex, if you're new to trading, you might be, I remember the days where I was a newer trader and I'm sitting there and I'm trying to day trade. I'm trying to scalp, thinking I'm all cool and trying to play the market perfectly. And then all of a sudden, a big fat green or red candle would get in the way. And I would just be like, what the heck just happened? And not even know that it was news. You guys can check for news before you trade. If you're a day trader, that should probably be part of your routine every single day is to check, hey, is there big market moving news? Because then you might say, well, I do want to avoid it. Or if I'm going to stay in, I need to at least manage my risk, right? You have to be aware of, especially as a day trader. I'm not a day trader myself, but for those day traders out there, be aware of big news because all of a sudden, if you're not paying attention and then you get these big news spikes, it can be terrifying. Let me know. Has anybody in the chat ever had that happen to them? Has anybody been trading something and then they're like, you know, they're looking at like the 5-minute chart or the 15-minute chart and they're like in and out, and then all of a sudden, bam, there's just this ginormous candle. I remember one time it happened to me, but it was in the right direction. And I was like, so shocked. I was like, am I just the best trader in the world? I bought this thing and then it went flying up, right? If only it was always that case, because there was definitely scenarios where I would buy something and then it would drop like crazy on news, and it was because I wasn't preparing myself. These are the things. This is the homework, the research, the due diligence that every trader should do if you're especially going to be day trading. Is be aware that these things can really move the market. So Don says, yeah, it happened to me. News messed me up all the time. Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with news. Countless number of times. Story of my life. Many times. Yeah, so okay. At least I'm not alone on this. Which trading style do you like to do, Nick? I like to swing trade, and I'm mostly a trend follower. Okay, so with that said, with NFP coming out on Friday, that has the potential to really move the US dollar and the CAD. Again, this is basically the unemployment number data, and that stuff can really move the markets. People can, you know, make or change their decisions based on that data. So again, back to the currency heat map, we'll jump into the charts in just a moment. We get the pound moving higher, we get the CAD moving higher, and then we've got some weakness on the Swiss franc. Everything else seems to be a little bit mixed today. So with that said, let's jump into it. We're going to start with Euro USD just to see what's going on with the Euro. Still hanging around in this range. Nothing dramatic here. We did find some sellers that came in and pushed price back from this level. We talked about this week so far. You know, as price was coming up here, can we break that? No, doesn't seem like we can. Okay, back to the default, which is back to the drawing board, which is chopping in here until we see a market decision here. What I mean by market decision is, you know, watch for that NFP. If that NFP comes out on Friday and it says, hey, US dollar super bearish, we could see the euro dollar rise. Sometimes that's confusing to newer traders, and I'm trying to be more new trader friendly on my streams and content, because I understand that most people are fairly new to this stuff and they're looking for tips. So put it this way. If we see super US dollar bearish news come out on Friday, we don't know what the news is going to be, by the way. Every single major news event, you guys, I get a DM on Instagram of someone saying, hey, Nick, which way is the news going to go? Is it a buy or is it a sell? And I'm always like kind of frustrated by that question, because I'm like, it's news for a reason. The answer is in the word news. It is new data. So I don't know the data before it comes out. So just like everybody else, I'm waiting to see what the numbers yield, and then possibly trying to make a decision afterwards as to whether or not I am still bullish, change my opinion, you know, et cetera, et cetera. With the Euro USD, however, you've got this situation where if the US dollar does come out as bearish, the euro dollar could rise, relatively speaking. Something like this, right? Something like, that could be the catalyst, and that's the word I use, for a big news event. If you get a catalyst, that is the idea where, okay, something is really going to drive the price. And it's not a head and shoulders. It's not support and resistance. It is something that is happening in the real world that is flooding the market with buyers or sellers and is likely to continue that process. That's what I would call a catalyst. So when I'm looking at the euro dollar, if we get super bearish numbers for the dollar, then you could probably be seeing me look for, okay, well, I want to get involved going long in the euro, shorting that dollar. So that could be a scenario in which I find a catalyst to go long. Now, it doesn't mean I'm just going to buy just because if the news is this way, or I'm not going to sell just because the news is this way. There's more to it than that. For me, I'm still employing my technical analysis. I'm still looking for things like, you know, pullbacks and retracements and getting the best risk reward that I possibly can, trying to let winners run and trend follow and all that good stuff that we talk about here on the channel. Doesn't mean that stuff goes out the window. It's just that I am, you know, looking for a driving force to get us to break out of this range, because we're kind of stuck. Until we're out of this range, you know, it's sort of just back and forth for me. So nothing super interesting on the euro for today. Let's move on to the pound dollar, take a look at GBP, USD. Let's see what's going on over here with that British pound today. I do have a position open, by the way. Maybe I'll talk about it once we get a little further in the video. I'm just crossing out the majors first. So the pound dollar here, you know, it gave a good try here. It looked like it really was trying to get past that 1.42. I was seeing price, you know, we were making our way out of this range, right? looking like really interesting. But again, we didn't really get a fully blown, like nice, clean break. Like I was looking for, okay, show me like a few candles. Show me a good number of green, strong candles. Then on that retracement, I've been talking about looking to get long on the pound. Like that's something that I'm looking to do, but I can't do it until I see, I want to see that confirmation that price can actually stay above this level of resistance for a while, right? On the 4-hour chart, you got this previous resistance here, but even on the lower time frames, you can see it a little bit cleaner if we just draw this zone here. You can see price trying to break out here and just failing again and again. Every time it wakes up into this area, 1.42, it finds sellers that just push it right back down. So I'm looking for, show me something like this. Show me a nice clean break, hold that with some good green candles that close bullish, and then something like that. I love. So that's the idea. Ahmed says, me when CAD started to taper, that was a nightmare. I guess you're talking about like holding on to something that when news comes out and it's like scary. Yeah, fortunately, like that was a really, really big catalyst. That was a serious catalyst for me to go long on the CAD. It's still bullish because of that. Same with New Zealand. New Zealand has talked about raising rates sooner. That's another catalyst that I'm pretty bullish on the New Zealand dollar right now. But yeah, so pound dollar, similar to the euro. I'm waiting for a decision point here. Waiting for price to clear through the past levels of resistance and then looking to go long from there. If that happens, I will probably be taking long positions on the pound. But for now, I'm just being patient. You guys, I'm going to the gym today with my sister. I'm really excited because she's like super into like fitness and stuff. So I'm pretty pumped. And then I'm literally going to get pumped. It's on my mind this morning. I'm just getting excited because I'm like, I don't know. Is anybody else into their fitness stuff lately? I mean, I've been working out for a while, but it is something that I'm like really interested into right now. I don't know. It's good to have hobbies outside of trading because like I trade and I have a business where we create content for traders, right? Like we have a whole second channel where we're trying to put on lots of different people. It keeps me very, very busy. So it's nice to have something else. And for me right now, that is totally just like fitness. It's a really good, and honestly, just so you guys, just so we go off on a real tangent, the cool thing about, like working out for me is that there are so many similarities to like trading. Like it's all about consistency and discipline and like, controlling your natural responses and emotions and stuff. Like it is really interesting how similar it is. Well, honestly, it's just like success in general. Like anything that you are trying to succeed at, there are some like obstacles that you have to overcome, whether it's trading, business, personal finance, working out, your health, whatever. Like all that stuff is so interesting. Bradley says, oh yeah, the gym is great for traders. Bradley, I agree. Like seriously, it clears your head. It is like literally like factually good for your mindset. Like it clears your, I'm not going to get medical on you guys because I'll sound like an idiot, but like, I don't know. I was listening to some benefits of the gym, and it was definitely like very, very good for your happiness levels. It increases like your self-esteem and all that stuff. It's so good for your trading because again, if you can't stay level-headed, man, it's a tough place to make some money. One thing I will say before we keep going, if you are a person that is super insecure, if you're a person who is impatient, if you're a person who like gets really frustrated very easily, if you have anger problems, if you have, self-esteem problems, all those things, whether you like it or not, and I'm speaking to myself too, all of your insecurities will come out in your trading. And then it's very, very important to recognize this because if you have problems and insecurities, like we all have those issues, that's why we all struggle with the psychological part of trading. We all want to make money quickly. We all want to, be able to afford something nice. We all like get insecure and nervous when things aren't going right. We get frustrated and impatient. We all have that. But if you are a person that can't overcome yourself in that case, trading is going to be so much harder for you because if you can't control those things, they will get the best of you. So using things like the gym, using things like reading or whatever, like is something that is very positive for your mindset. That's why you get all these cringy, quoting traders all the time on Instagram that are like, you know, lifestyle and mindset and all that. Like, honestly, yeah, some of it is cringe, but at the same time, like, seriously, it's very important. It's very important to get your mindset like very, very tight if you're going to be a success trader. If you guys listen to podcasts or people who are successful traders, like objectively, every single time I've ever heard or seen or talked to a trader that I know actually makes money consistently, they are always like down to earth, humble people. They're not flashing stuff. They're literally just down to earth, cool people that have figured out themselves, and hence their trading. So I don't know. Little side action for you. We'll keep going here. Sorry for the rant. I don't know, but honestly, for the people who heard that and they like got something from that, like take that with you, because that was a tip that nobody like that doesn't come across like YouTube very often. You're not going to like hear like, oh yeah, you know, these little tips, working out and like, you know, keeping your mindset clean. Like, those are things that are not very exciting to hear. But like, honestly, if you're trying to trade and you're trying to stick to a strategy and your main problem is the psychological side, those are tips that really helped me, and maybe they'll help you as well. Find a hobby, something that is good for your mindset, not just video games. Trust me, I like video games too, but working out, going on walks, biking, something that is like physically activating or like gets your mindset right. I'm telling you, that stuff is game changing for your discipline. Anyways, take a look at the New Zealand dollar. So I mentioned that I am long on the New Zealand dollar. We've got a nice catalyst here, in my opinion. The New Zealand Central Bank, the RBNZ, came out and said, you know, hey, we think we can see ourselves raising rates by September 2022. That was this ginormous green candle, this great little bullish spike for the New Zealand. And since then, it has since pulled back. Now, I've been using this pullback as an opportunity to be buying, not the New Zealand dollar. I'll take a look at the trade that I'm in just a moment with you guys. But the idea of getting this catalyst, you know, this is something that I look for in my trading. I look for a nice fundamental catalyst, and then I'm looking for pullbacks, right? A simple way, I guess you could argue, is like, oh, you wait for a nice news spike and then you look for pullbacks afterwards. That is something like that's an arguably a good, interesting style of wrapping up like one of the ways I trade. It's primarily just looking for, you know, a catalyst, something bullish about a market that really makes sense and has potential to move a market for 1 to 3 months, and then trying to get involved on a discounted pullback. Honestly, this is not the worst spot either, in my opinion, here for the New Zealand dollar. You know, you've got this price bouncing off demand here, right? So you've got this area, a couple nice little, look at this. So I heard Ryan on the stream. He's another guy who comes on the other channel, A1 Trading YouTube channel. He was talking about calling this rail tracks or railroad tracks, which I thought was I've never heard it said that way, but kind of makes sense. Like, it looks like a railroad, right? This candlestick pattern. Is that an actual candlestick pattern? But like what he was saying is, he's like, well, it comes down, straight up, and it looks like a railroad track. Like, literally you could you could draw a railroad there. But I thought that was interesting, but it also made a good point. Like, you just see after this steep sell-off, there were just like hard-handed buyers that stepped in. And that kind of is like a positive for the New Zealand. Now, to be fair, there's also some lower highs coming in here. So truthfully, buyers probably want to see that fail out, something like that. That might be a decent lower time frame thing to look for. But I don't know, just something to think about on the New Zealand dollar. I'll show you guys my trade in just a second. I usually put my trades first, then off to the gym. Thanks, Nick. You're such a big help in my trading. Thank you very much. Glad to help, and awesome to hear that you're also into the gym. Nick, is gold going to hit 1850 or 1950? I do not know, but we will take a look at gold in just a bit. Talk about that. Oh, Denise says that she makes yarn on a spinning wheel and that it's very zen. That's awesome, Denise. Like, everybody's got to have their thing, man. Just something that is not trading. Like, you can't, because I also speak from like personal experience in the sense that like when I first got into trading, I was so obsessed with it. You know, I was so obsessed with the idea of trading my money and making money with it that like that was like everything to me, right? I didn't want to do much else other than that. And it's great for learning to like dedicate a lot of your time and energy to something like that. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like dangerous to put all of your attention on trading too, because when all of your trading is all of your attention is on trading, every single pip, every single price movement, every single percent and trade that you take is so meaningful to you because that's all you care about. It's a dangerous like approach. My trading, I think, improved as I became more of a passive trader. I'll set my trades, I'll walk away and come back. This is the first time I'm looking at my New Zealand yen trade for the day. And you can see, so I went long on the pullback here. Things are looking good so far. I mean, it held nicely. Sellers gave a try here at this level. You can see I actually got long. Did I get long here? It was actually a lot. Yeah, I think I got long right around here somewhere. And then price went up and up and up. And then I did not trail stops or do anything. I guess in hindsight, maybe I should have. But at the same time, I just still like this trade. So price came back, went negative for a little bit. Now it's pretty much flat, just around where I got in on New Zealand yen. So I do think that this has potential. I am a bull on the New Zealand and a bear on the yen. So I like this idea of higher pricing on the New Zealand yen. But I think it's got some good risk reward. I'm not going to be super sad if it stops out because I haven't taken a loss on my trading in a few weeks now, which is like really, really unusual for me because like, I'll be honest with you, I take losses pretty much every week, like probably more than one. So the thing is with this trade, like I said, so let me give you guys just one more psychological tip. So recently, like I said, I've had win after win after win, which is not like an everyday occurrence for me. I don't want it to sound like that, but I've just been having a very good month. I was up 10% in May, which is a very, very high gain for me in one single month. And it wasn't like I risked a tremendous amount. I just had some really great runners that resulted in some nice risk to rewards. And so I'm super happy about that. May was a fantastic month for me. April was not a good month for me. I lost. So in April, I lost like 4.5%. And then in May, I made like 10.2%, which is a very, very high month for me. I do not usually make something like 10 plus percent. Every once in a while, it does happen. And it's awesome when it does, because it's usually because I take something that just like rocket ships. But, in the end, I expect this to not be every single month. And it's important to like keep your head, level about things. So when I'm looking at this, when I'm saying, okay, I'm taking this trade, I actually risked less. I risked a smaller amount. I think I risked like $250 on this trade. So it's kind of a small risk for the account, but it's so that I can psychologically prepare myself for a loss. I've mentioned this in some of my videos. When I take a lot of trades that are winners for a while, what I'll do is I'll step away from my full position sizes for a bit and take a minimal position size, like a very, very small position to sort of take a loss. Like I'll prepare myself for my next loss so that I don't let it get to my head. I don't know. Does anybody else have a weird trick like that? The thing is about trading, the reason people have different styles is because different things work for them. So for me, I basically have to let myself lose on a small position. Now I might take a winning trade. Like I'm not trying to lose. I'm just saying that, okay, in this case, I might take a situation where maybe this thing does run and I make a little bit of money. That's great. If it does lose though, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I can still take losses. I'm not invincible. And then, just like move on as normal. So I'll slowly work my way back into positions. But again, when I take a bunch of winning trades, I usually cool the jets is how I like to say it. And I wish every month was 10%. That would be fantastic. But it is a bit out, it's a bit unrealistic, especially in my style of trading, which is fairly conservative compared to some of the other stuff that you'll see. But anyways, New Zealand yen, I still like it. I'm holding on to that trade. For the VIP members who saw my trade alert on that, I will give you guys any updates that I do. If I trail stops, etc., then you will know about it first, of course. Okay, so what else can we look at? Euro JPY? Sure. Euro yen still stuck in consolidation here at the highs. Let's take a quick look at retail sentiment, see what's going on with this one. I bet you it's probably being shorted by retail. Let's see. Euro yen. Yep, 78% of retail traders are currently short on the euro yen. So I have no interest in going short, because if the crowd is doing it, the crowd is usually not the place you want to hang out with. Maybe in high school when you're trying to fit in, but in markets, following the crowd is a very dangerous game, because now it's different if you're following the smart money. If you're following the institutional traders that, they trade millions and billions of dollars and they make a decision to buy gold, then okay, that's a little different, because their decision is not spur of the moment. Oh, it looks too high, or oh, it looks too short, too low, I'm going to buy it. It's usually, not always, I guess, but mostly pretty much more methodical. They have a reason for taking the trade. They manage the risk. They have full departments of people that are working to make the very best trading and investing decisions. So if they're going long on something, then that's cool. But if retail is going long on something, I'm like, retail usually doesn't have like a true strategy. The sad reality is that most traders, especially, newer and retail traders, they don't have any sort of strategy. They don't have any sort of plan. They're jumping into this stuff. And if this is you right now, I'm not trying to like shame you or call you out, because I think we can, I got some basic stuff that could help you. So if you don't have a trading plan right now, like if you don't have something written out or planned or in a Google Doc or on a piece of paper or whatever that tells exactly what your trading style and what your edge is in the markets, you should probably stop trading. Because if you don't have a plan, you are certainly gambling. Because if you don't have something that you can consistently do to see results over time, and you're just sort of guessing, you're like, oh yeah, this one looks good, or so-and-so talked about this, it probably is going down. Like if you're just doing that, you are going to lose money. Like almost guaranteed. In the short term, you might do okay, but long term, you're basically guaranteed to lose money if you have no repeatable trading strategy. Because the markets by themselves, you're paying your broker expenses, you're paying, for spreads, for swaps. There are costs to trading. So if you don't have something that not only, because if you're just going 50-50 and then you have costs, you're going to lose money, guaranteed, even if you like take small positions over and over. But if you have a strategy that allows you to capture big gains and allows you to risk small and gives you some sort of definable, like, okay, I make more money over time doing this, then you're good. And that will help you to overcome the costs of trading, the expenses. But if you're not doing that, I'm telling you, you're just going to lose money over time. So don't let that be you. If you're struggling with that, then let me show you a resource that might help you. I'm going to pause and show this to you just because it's very, very important. If that's you, if you're like, Nick, that's me, you're talking to me right now, I don't have enough of a strategy plan. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to be like, you're an idiot, but don't let yourself look like an idiot, because you should take the time to go put in the work. And so here's what you should do. Head over to a1trading.com, go to education, and go to trading plan template. This is a completely free resource that we have available to you. Like, I'm not trying to sell you at all. All you got to do, head over to the A1 Trading website. Ain't no $1,000 course or multi-level marketing, none of that BS. We're talking about real stuff here. Education, head over to Trading Plan Template, click this, and then we'll send you a copy through your email. So get that template. It really, really should help you. One of our guys from the team, he wrote this template on how to write a winning trading strategy, how to plan your trades, and do all that stuff. So I'm begging you, if you don't have a trading plan, go put in the work. If you're serious about this stuff, there should be no hesitation to spend the time, do the work, do the back testing, build your plan, test it over and over. That's the only way you're ever going to make money in this stuff. You're not going to get it from a YouTube video. You're not going to get it from, going all in on something. I mean, maybe you get lucky, but again, these are the tips and tricks that you're not going to hear, because people are going to be like, oh, buy my course, then you'll know. Don't buy a course. Don't join multi-level marketing. Do this stuff for free. Just put in the work. That is the answer, right? You don't need a super expensive mentor. You don't need to join a multi-level marketing that claims like that's BS right there. No questions asked. If you're in multi-level marketing right now, send me a message and I'll give you free membership and show you that it's way better. Terms and conditions apply, but send me a message and tell me about your experience in MLMs. I'd love to hear from some of you guys. You can send me messages on Instagram if you want. I'll try and get to some of the DMs. But yeah, if you're caught up in MLMs, you know which ones I'm talking about. That's a whole nother thing. I made a video on that. You guys know I'm not a hater. I've started my own business. I'm doing fine for myself. But the thing is, a lot of times people who criticize, multi-level marketing, they get called like, oh, you're a hater, or you're this and that. I'm not a hater. I've done my research. I've started a real business. MLMs are not a real business. First, they're scams. Number two, and it makes me mad because Forex is a tough place for people to make money, and MLMs are a tough place for people to make money. So when you combine the two, you're talking total BS. Okay? So that is my opinion. You can feel free to disagree with me. But again, that is another talk for another day. But I put out videos. If you're not like sure about that, and if you trust my opinion, if you trust my thoughts and ideas, I put together a full-blown documentary. That's how serious I'm at. I put a documentary out. It's not as good as some of the other guys out there who make better documentaries than me, but I had to give my piece on it. Talking about MLMs, and one in particular that we all know. But, it's I put out a documentary just talking about that because it's so needed to be said, man, because there's so many people who are like falling victim to that fake lifestyle, that fake money, fake everything. It's really, really annoying. MLMs are legal Ponzi schemes. Yeah, and that's the thing. They'll say like, oh, well, it is legal, so technically it's not bad, right? But as my friend Always Marco, if you guys have seen that guy on YouTube, if he's ranting about this stuff, as he puts, at one point, slavery was legal. That's definitely not right, even though it was legal at a certain point. It's objectively, like nowadays, everybody is like, that's awful, that's wrong, right? So MLMs are legal. Does that mean they're right? I don't know. Just my thoughts. But yeah, I'm not going to rant on that because, that's not my thing. I'll self-proclaim I'm anti-MLM, but that's not what this channel is about. So it's too good to be true. It's probably a scam. My best friend wants to try binary options. Should he, Eddie? Probably not. You should probably start with other things that are not so risky, because a lot of people who get into that stuff, they're allured by I can make a lot of money in 5 minutes, but you can also lose way more in 5 minutes. Mary Catherine says, hey, Nick. Hi, Mary Catherine. It's my girlfriend. Thanks for being here. You kind of didn't say anything about EJ. You're right. Call me out. You're right. Let's get back to the charts. Quit hating, Nick. You're just a hater. Okay, so looking at EJ, what I did say is that, okay, retail traders right now are very short on this market. So for me, I'm not interested in shorting. However, I would like to get back in on this. You can see I bought back here. I sold right around here. And then I missed the good move. And this was frustrating to watch float away. I'm not even gonna lie, that was really sad because I was like, man, I called the right direction, but then I got trailed out and then it ran away from me. So that is a little bit frustrating, but it's all right because there's still opportunities to look for going forward. So for me, I like this idea. If it can dip a little bit further, pulling back to maybe 133.4, something like that at the previous resistance. I have an alert set here. So if price comes down to that point, I'll probably watch the lower time frames, look for an entry possibly, and try and go long in euro yen if I can. So I am long on this currency pair, or long bias on this currency pair. The other thing that I would say, the other if statement there, is that I have another yen trade on right now, that New Zealand yen that I pulled up earlier, right? New Zealand yen, I'm currently long in this trade. I'm up a whopping $10. So I don't want to take too many yen trades at the same time, but if the setup is there, I may look at it a little closer. As always, if I take a trade, I'll call it out inside of the Discord. So Aussie yen, similar story, sort of range bound here. The Aussie has been a little bit tough. Like if we look at AUD USD, it's been so range bound here. This is the 4-hour chart, and you can just see sellers coming in each time and buyers coming in each time and just really chopping this thing back and forth. I took a trade here trying to go, hold on, what did I do? So I took a long here. I got stopped out. I took a long here. I was break even, I think, on this one. And then I have not traded it since. So I'm waiting for, the thing that I'm waiting for is similar to pound dollar. I'd love to see price make one of these moves, right? Break out higher, retest 0.78. I like that. And then the target that I have for this year, should things continue south with the dollar, I think it's probably headed to 0.8, which is that yearly high. Back in February, we put in the thoughts, put in the tops here. And my thought is, if we can continue to push higher, that retest, I love the idea of looking to buy pullbacks on the way up. If that happens. Yes, FX Group says, give Nick some likes. Yes, please. Thank you very much. That'd mean a lot. If you're enjoying the streams, if you're liking these, you can come back and hang out again for free Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. You can tune in, hang out, talk markets, talk trading, and you can come back each time for free. It's completely free, like I said. So if you are looking to up your game, this channel is for you. No paid courses, no MLMs, none of that. You can just watch for free. All right. So if you're enjoying the stream, like I said, if that sounds good to you, all you have to do is leave a like on the stream, and that's like all the payment I need. So with that said, what else can we look at? Aussie dollar, Aussie yen, euro yen, look to the euro. What about gold? We'll take a look at XAU, USD here and see what's going on with gold here. So gold still holding this upward trend line here. And it looks like, I'm going to go ahead and clear this fib for now. Let's look at the 1 hour chart. So we'll get a closer look today at what's going on with gold. Gold is still technically like in this range that we highlighted yesterday, but it's looking towards the upper limits of that range. So you can kind of see if price is able to break through this, there may be setups like that, but I will caution you guys, if you're looking at gold on that side of things, the only thing I'll say is that remember that we are looking a little bit stretched here on the 4 hour and the daily chart. Actually, the daily chart looks very stretched to me right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some deeper pullbacks. Like you can see, we have just been up, and the RSI is probably looking pretty stretched. Yep, up there at the RSI 7 peaked out at one point at 86. So it's really, it's looking like for now, price is a bit on the stretch side. So I'm being cautious with long trades. You can see on top of that, we kind of have this like slowing momentum, which is a little bit concerning because you've got like, okay, initially we had this great move up, another great move up, and then we had another great move up, but then now we've sort of slowed. You can see there's like just a gradual slight decrease in momentum up. I'm still bullish on this thing, but I would actually personally really be interested in seeing, can we get a week of sell pressure on the gold market? Because that could be, something that gives us great pullback opportunities for buyers, which I would consider myself long biased on this market. So if we got a deeper pullback, that could be really, really interesting to look for buying opportunities on the pullback. Ish says, yes, very stretched. It's definitely looking stretched. And it's just something that I'm, it's not that I'm going to short it because it looks stretched. I don't really believe in, personally, like my style of trading. I know that there's people who counter trend trade, and that's fine. I'm not saying that you can't make money with it. I'm just saying that for me, I find it much easier to go with this. But if I'm going to go with it, I've got to see that dip. I've got to see that pullback. Get me in at somewhere where I feel like I got a discount. Does that make sense? I don't know. It's not like the only way to trade. And I'm not saying you can't, maybe there's people who are shorting gold right now and they're going to make a great profit if it does retrace like that. I'm not saying that you can't make money. I'm just saying for me, the easiest path is to go with that trend, but to look for an opportunity that gives you a decent pullback. Part of the reason I like pullback so much is because let's say that we got that trade. The cool thing about a pullback is that you could target something like this area here. So I would probably, if I was to take this trade, if price really started dipping, I would love the idea of, okay, 1950 as a target, still have that in mind. If I take the trade there on the pullback, this gives me a 3-to-1 risk to reward, which is really pretty good, right? So a 3-to-1 risk to reward means, if price comes down here, if I risked $100 on this move, I could make up to $300 if I took profit up there. And I could, if my style of trading, if I'm trailing stops, I could even make more if price really decided to rally further. But again, just going with that trend is cool because, if this trend is going to continue, you have a pretty good chance of getting involved on a pullback in my strategy, my approach, because what I'm saying is that, okay, I like this upward momentum. It should continue. If it does, I have a lot of upside potential. And if it doesn't, I have, a pretty quick exit strategy that's going to get me out for a small loss. There's a lot of power in just accepting losses very quickly for my style of trading. It is key. It is imperative. Like for me, it's not about the winners as much as it is about the losers, because I take a lot of small losses. I have to be able to quickly cut losses, quickly get out of things that are hurting the account, and hold on to things tightly that are doing the account good. Does that make sense? And a pullback allows me to do that with a good entry style, with a good risk to reward, and allows me to capture some of those good moves there. So again, I like the idea. I think, like I said, I think gold is a bit stretched here. I think things are looking a little bit like they're rounding off for now. We might see some fresh buying maybe going into the end of the week. But again, for me, it's going to be another big thing is watching that US dollar news that comes out on Friday. If we get NFP stuff that's like super bearish, again, that could be a great bullish catalyst for the gold market. And then vice versa. If you get bullishness on the dollar, we could see that pullback that I'm talking about on gold. So definitely just going to be watching the news for this one big time, because it could have impact. Now, last time we did NFP, last time NFP came around, we had some major spikes, like some big moves. I think the euro dollar moved like 90 pips. Is that right? Or no, it was like 40. But still, 40 pips in just a matter of a few minutes is a lot. So a lot for NFP nowadays. Actually, like 10 years ago, NFP was such a bigger market mover. In fact, there would be times where and I wasn't trading at this time, so I'm not talking from experience. I've just looked back on the charts and done like the research on it. And you go back in time 10 years ago, NFP was like ginormous. It would move the markets 100 pips on some of the different currency pairs almost every time. So nowadays, I guess maybe they're better at predicting it, or they have better resources to expect what's going to happen before it happens. But yeah, so just an interesting thing. So sometimes you get those big unexpected moves though. And so those can be very, very big market movers. Again, last month, NFP was a ginormous market mover for gold, for the euro, for the pound, really, really moved all the dollar crosses. Please describe an exit strategy, Nick. There's lots of exit strategies, Manic. I have a video on that actually, how to exit trades. You can look that up. One thing that I like the simple version of my trading style is let's say I did get in here and I bought this market, right? I buy here, had a stop loss here, and then price starts to rally and starts breaking structure. For me, I like to trail stops. So I can move it up to this point, lock in profits, and if it keeps going, I'll lock in more profits. And then when it comes back, I'll close out the trade for a profit. That's a strategy that I like to use. And that's a very quick, loose version of what I do. But that is the basic idea. Okay. All right. USD CAD. Look at dollar CAD. We'll take a look at the 1 hour chart here. This thing has just been chopping around for a little bit. Doesn't seem to want to get past the lows right now, and also doesn't seem to be breaking through highs either. So right now we're sort of range bound, which makes sense because again, we have news coming. And the dollar CAD is a huge candidate for big spikes on Friday. Let me show you guys why that is really quick. If we ever head over to forexfactory.com, you go to Friday here, we have CAD news and we have dollar news. So dollar CAD has news for both currencies involved in this currency pair. So it could cause some serious spikes. Sometimes you get bullish news for the CAD, bearish news for the dollar, and you see this thing drop like a rock. Sometimes you get bullish news for the dollar, bearish news for the CAD, you see this thing rise. And sometimes you get mixed, and then you just get these really ugly chops. So those are pretty much the three scenarios. I don't know what's going to happen with the news, but those are scenarios to look out for. Usually, if you see good news or bad news for both currencies, the dollar and the CAD, you usually see chopping. Every once in a while, you get a situation where one is strong, one is weak on the news, and it just sends this thing shooting up or shooting down. So watch out for that. I will say we're going to do more stuff about that towards the end of the week. We are going to be live streaming NFP. So when NFP is around the corner, come hang out with me. Come hang out with me and the rest of the gang here. Everyone's going to be probably watching the news together. We're going to watch the spike, see if it moves. And as always, just watch it as a community here. So definitely stay tuned for that on Friday. That stream will be Friday at 8 a.m. US Eastern, 1 hour earlier than usual because NFP is at 8:30 here in the US. So usually I start at 9, so I'll start at 8 that day just to make sure we cover that. Cool. So with that said, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. I do want to say before we go, we are doing this is probably like a last call on the membership sale that we're doing right now. If you guys have any interest in joining our Discord, we have a Discord that is managed by myself and our staff of traders and just our management staff. We have a community of traders that you can join. There's chat rooms. There is access to all of the trades that I take in real time. I share my journal there, my entries, my exits, like take profits, stop losses, any of that, the analysis behind every trade. We also have a couple other analysts who share their own trades. We have live coaching webinars with Joe Barreca. Like I said, open chat rooms, educational material, training stuff, strategy libraries, software libraries. There's so much stuff available inside of our private Discord. If you are not already in the Discord and you want to join, that is all available down below in the description. So if you head down in the description, there's a link there to join. And there is a discount code for you to use because you supported the live stream by hanging out with me today. So thank you very much for being here. Thanks for supporting what we do on the calls here each day. Like I said, if you're not already in the Discord, there's information and a promo code for you down below in the description. Thank you guys so much for being here today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you back tomorrow.